Gotcha. So when I look at the tenure of Rick, it's pretty average or disappointing. Why do you think it took so long to make this move?
Well, with any other school, if you're not winning means you got to keep a job. Obviously, at the University of North Texas, that was not for 15 years part of the culture there. Now we're like, okay, now we want to win. I think we brought in Seth Luttrell, like, we want to win. We've had the new stadium for 4 or 5 years now.
Something like
that. We need to put we need to put fans in the seats, and we need to sell beer.
Well, we need to have a good product. You can package that product. You can put it in a nice new stadium. You can dress it up in cool, awesome uniforms that we can debate how cool they are or aren't compared to the University of Oregon. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting at a game and you're losing by 40 points to an FCS school,
yeah. Well, that was the straw that broke the
low
back
point, right?
When they lost to Portland State. What was it, 66-6? It's 66-7. Sorry, I shorted them 1 point. I took something away from the kicker.
They needed that 1 point. So when you look at that sort of success record, of course you're going to blame the coach, right? But you have to blame the guy who's been hiring this coach and the coach before him and the coach before him. And at some point, the blame has to fall on the athletic director.
And it finally did. And he wasn't fired. It was like, hey, guess what? We're not really happy with your product. Do you mind go ahead and stepping down?
I think
we really like you, but
I think what happened is after 15 years they go, look, Rick, you're not going to be here next season.
Do you think they call him Rick or Ricky?
They call him Rick. I like to call him Ricky V, but
okay.
I think that they call him Rick. They said, look, Rick, thank you for your service here. You're not going to be a part of this athletic department next year. Now, that's either on your own terms here. We're going to give you, a window. We're going to give you time to say, I'm stepping down. We came to an agreement.
Here's a severance pay.
Or we're going to hand you the boot.
I'll take the severance pay and walk away instead of taking the boot and not getting anything.
Yeah.
What about you?
The money's great, but do you think what do you think a new hire at the University of North Texas needs to look like? What should President Neal be looking for?
Now, I say I want to go young. Now, when I say I want to go young, I don't want a 20-year-old or 32, 34-year-old.
You don't want me to be the new athletic
director?
No, I don't.
At the University of North I'm going to break your heart and say, no, I don't want you. But I want someone that maybe a head coach that just didn't have very good success, or maybe just someone that has a business mind.
I'm going to disagree with you automatically.
Okay.
In saying
I'm used to that.
In saying that we need to have somebody with some experience and preferably smaller school experience and elevating that level.
Okay.
I don't have any specific names in mind. That's a whole nother game that we can play another day. But I think they have to maybe have some big time school experience so they can know what the goal is, but have smaller school experience that needs to grow so they know realistically what they're getting into when they take on the North Texas project. I think we already have young minds in the coaching staff. I think we could use a little guy. I'm not saying grab somebody who was, 70 years ago I was athletic. That's not my point.
You don't want Dan McCarney to kind of step in, right?
I do not want Dan McCarney to step anywhere near our football program anytime soon.
I don't blame you on that one.
So I think he needs to, one, obviously, you got to know how to raise money if you're going to be an athletic director of any sort. You got to learn to reach into the pockets of the people and make them believe that what you're going to do here is going to be meaningful enough that those donations will be worth it.
Right.
You have to grow the fan base. Now, that's going to happen by the teams being more successful than they've been, but there can be way more done on social media and marketing than the North Texas Athletics have done.
When you look at the North Texas fan blogs or anything like that, you have to know where to go. It doesn't pop up. There's no, when I type in if I type in UNT, sometimes this University of North Texas is not the first thing that pops up.
Right.
Usually it's a medical doctor's office. I don't even know what it is.
I'm sure it's
not what I want.
The UNT Medical Center is affiliated with the university.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's that medical center.
Yeah, so he's got to know how to raise money. He's got to know how to He's got to know how to put the marketing onto another level, because what he's doing now, or what the department is doing now, is not anything special, and it's not game changing. And when your product is not that good, your marketing has to be that much better to compensate.
Okay, I just Googled UNT, and guess what? It popped up. That's the first thing. So I guess we fixed that.
So forgive Dave, and then I think what the biggest reason Rick is being replaced, and what this coach is going to have to do, he's going to have a track record of recognizing coaching talent and hiring it. Because under Rick, as we looked at the winning records of 44.5% winning record for the 3 major sports in his time there, we got to see more than that, and so that there is something for the marketing team, for the athletic department, for these student athletes to build on and around to attract attention. And more attention, more students, more money, all those things will grow the program. And it won't happen overnight, but
right.
Look at what Houston's done over the last few years. That's a great model to look at. That they've had some success before.
They're a media market, and they were in the Southwest Conference. They also fell into the problem of probation periods also.
Right.
Back in the 80s, Jack Party era.
So when you look at we pulled up an infographic that had to do with money.
Okay.
And
that one.
We were looking at annual fundraising dollars.
Okay.
And
who leads the list? We don't have to go on that.
The University of Texas, Dave, and it's $35.5 million.
That's a pretty good chunk of change.
That's the creme de la creme. That is not the expectation in North Texas.
Right.
Texas Tech is actually outraises Texas A&M.
That's kind of amazing.
Me.
That's a little amazing.
But it's only by $300,000, so let's not get too cocky.
Yeah.
And then you go Tech, A&M, Baylor, and so you go Texas Tech, Texas A&M. They're all $30 million or higher.
Okay.
And then there's a huge fall off here at Baylor, and it's $12 million, which probably sinking drastically.
Yes.
And then TCU at 10, which that's got to be recent, because usually
they're probably drawing in more
right. Big 12 money and all that sort of thing. So
they just recently got good and started winning games.
That's an important part of fundraising. Okay, so then we get to the list that should matter to us the most.
Okay.
You have SMU, Houston, UTSA, UTEP, Rice, and Texas State, all in front of UNT.
Okay.
So what was that big figure, Texas? What did we say?
35
million. And UNT raised $800,000.
What? Not even $1 million.
Not even $1 million.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah. So I guess this might be revenue. It could not be donations. I'm actually not 100% sure. I don't remember what the graph said. But we are behind Texas State and Rice and UTEP and UTSA. Those are all...
Well, here's the thing. We shouldn't be behind Texas State.
No.
Should not. I mean, how much behind are we? We only printed out one copy, so I don't know why I did that.
$500,000 behind.
Okay.
So then we're almost $2 million behind Rice. We are $200 million basically behind UTEP, and almost $3 million behind UTSA. Look,
that one drives you nuts, doesn't it?
It's so cringeworthy. How is this the state? Now, you have to remember, Dave, we are the 3rd largest by enrollment university
in the state
of Texas.
Right.
So, I mean, what can you say? How is that? How has this been allowed to go on for so long without Rick getting the chopping block?
It's amazing. What's Teflon Don? Well, he's not Teflon anymore, and he's not a Don anymore, so he's just out of a job, walking the streets. And I don't expect him to ever get hired again. Maybe he'll probably take on like a high school
I don't think
thing.
so. I think he could find a job at a college or a lower college. They on the forums, they jokingly call him, he came from Southern Miss, they call him the Hattiesburg Hustler.
That's a good one.
So I'm so happy that he is gone, and I'm so happy that we can start a new era. It's been a long time coming, and it's
Make a
here,
change.
and I'm so excited. And speaking of changes, victims and Bryles and Bears, oh my.